Hello, this that one.
Have you ever imagined a global superstar refusing trillions of rupiah, refusing the chance to be number one all over the world, just for one word? Respect? What would you do if in front of you there was a collaboration contract with the biggest artist on the planet, but you knew that inside its lyrics he calls women with degrading words? Most people would sign it. Most people would close their eyes for the sake of fame. But not this one man. A man who was raised by a hula dancer mother, surrounded by strong sisters, and loved by millions of female fans who gave him everything. Today, we are going to uncover the side of Bruno Mars that cameras never see, the dark side of the music industry that he has been fighting alone in silence, and a decision that made him lose everything, but in return won the hearts of the entire world. Stay here, because what you are about to hear next will change your perspective on the definition of a true gentleman in the modern era. Welcome back to this channel, where we don't just talk about gossip, but we dissect the heart of a legend. If you are a hooligan, a loyal fan of Bruno Mars, you know that this man never talks too much. He lets his music do the talking. But today, his music is not enough. We have to talk about his principles. In this special two-part video, we have done deep research from rare interviews, from statements by his management team, from producers who have worked with him in the studio in Los Angeles. And we found a very clear pattern, a common thread that connects all of his decisions for the last 15 years. Bruno Mars's team is one of the most selective teams in the music industry. They don't chase virality. They don't chase numbers. They chase honor. And in this first part, I promise you, we will go inside two of the most iconic collaborations that actually prove how deep that principle is. First, why he chose Cardi B for the remix of the song Finesse in 2018, when at that time, there were dozens of much bigger male rappers lining up wanting to be on that song. Second, what is the true meaning behind the Silk Sonic project with Anderson .Paak, which they themselves called a movement to bring back the era of gentlemen who respect women? And most importantly, at the end of this first part, I will give you a leak about a recording session that got out, where Bruno firmly said, "I'm not going to sing that, it doesn't respect women." What kind of lyric did he reject? The answer will give you goosebumps, and make you fall even more in love with him. So make sure you watch until the very last second, don't skip, because every second is a valuable lesson. Let's start this journey. Let's go back to 2017, to a studio full of smoke and golden light in Los Angeles. The song Finesse had just been finished, but something was missing. And the decision made after that would determine everything. Imagine a room. Outside, the world is going crazy over the song 24K Magic. Bruno Mars is at the top of the world. He can collaborate with anyone. He can call anyone, and they will say yes. His record label, Atlantic Records, gave him a list of names. Big names, rappers with millions of followers, whose lyrics are filled with words about money, cars, and unfortunately, often about women as objects. They said, "Bruno, pick one, we'll make this song explode even bigger." But Bruno was silent. He replayed the song Finesse over and over again. That song was his love letter to the 90s era, to a time when his mother was still dancing, to a time when women like Janet Jackson, like TLC, like Aaliyah ruled the stage not because of their bodies, but because of their strength, because of their confidence, because of their finesse. That word itself, finesse, is about elegance, about class. And in the middle of that list of big names, there was one name that had just exploded at that time, a woman from the Bronx, a former stripper who changed her life, who was mocked by many people, but had a fire that could not be extinguished. Her name is Cardi B. Many people on the team were initially hesitant. They said, "She is too new, she is too controversial, she is not a safe choice." But Bruno saw something that no one else saw. He didn't see controversy, he saw a fighter. He saw a woman who was taking back the narrative of her life. He saw the 90s female power. He was looking for come back to life inside Cardi B. When interviewed by a famous magazine after the song exploded into a #1 hit, Bruno once said in a very sincere tone, "I wanted someone who could bring back that energy, the energy where women could be funny, sexy, strong, and powerful at the same time without having to apologize." And Cardi was the answer. She wasn't just a feature, she was a statement. That collaboration wasn't about adding a rap verse, it was about lifting up. Look at the Finesse music video. There is not a single scene that degrades Cardi. There is no camera that highlights her body in a disrespectful way. Instead, the two of them dance together, laugh together, as two equal stars, remembering the In Living Color show. Bruno placed Cardi on a stage that was just as high, with a light that was just as bright. That is the purest form of respect. And this is what many people don't know. This is what makes female fans, especially adult and senior fans around the world, cry when they hear this story. At the same time, there was another collaboration offer coming in for the same song, from a very big male rapper whose song was dominating the charts at that time. The offer was worth millions of dollars. But the demo lyrics he sent contained lines that referred to women with very degrading terms, that made women into a prize, into property. Bruno's team listened to that demo, and according to an internal source close to the studio, Bruno just shook his head and said, "We're not doing this. We don't need that. Our music is to make women feel beautiful, not to make them feel small." One sentence, one rejection, sacrificed potentially huge profits, but kept his integrity intact. He refused to be part of a culture he himself did not believe in. The transition from Finesse brings us to an even deeper chapter, a chapter that gave birth to a band, a movement, a philosophy. If Finesse was a statement, then Silk Sonic was its manifesto. Let's talk about Anderson.Paak and Silk Sonic. Many thought Silk Sonic was just a fun project of two friends drunk on 70s music. Indeed, they laugh, they drink wine, they wear glittering silk shirts. But behind all that luxury, there is a very serious concept that they have held tightly since the first day they entered the studio together in 2017. That concept they wrote on a large board in the studio. "We are gentlemen who respect women. We make music for women to feel safe, sexy, and cherished." Try listening again to the songs of Silk Sonic. Leave the door open. What are the lyrics? "If you want me, I'm here, I'm waiting, I'll leave the door open." There is no coercion. There is no aggression. Just a man waiting patiently, preparing everything, giving full power to the woman to decide. He prepares roses, he prepares wine, but he does not demand. He just says, "If you want to, this door is open." How different this is from modern R&B songs that are often about forcing, about claiming, about dominating. Bruno and Anderson.Paak deliberately returned to an era where men had to make an effort, had to be gentlemen, had to seduce with respect. In a rarely highlighted interview, Anderson.Paak once joked, but with serious eyes, he said, "Bruno is the most respectful person to women I have ever met. In the studio, if there is a female songwriter who gives an idea, he will stop and listen with full attention. If there is a female background singer, he will make sure she gets credit, gets a fair vocal portion, gets a sense of security. He will not let anyone in his room talk degradingly about women, even as a joke." And this is the most concrete proof of that principle. During the creation process of the album An Evening with Silk Sonic, there were several songwriters and producers who tried to bring in a more modern lyric style, which was harsher, more explicitly degrading to women to chase the younger streaming market. They argued, "This is what is trending. This is what will make the song explode on TikTok." But Bruno firmly rejected it. There is one story told by a studio engineer who worked with them. He told about one night where a very vulgar lyric about women was proposed for one of the songs. The room was silent. Everyone looked towards Bruno. And Bruno, who is usually the friendliest person and likes to joke, became very quiet. He then said in a voice that was soft but very clear, delete that line. We will never degrade women in our music. My mother listens to this music. My sisters listen to this music. Little daughters out there will listen to this music. I want them to feel valued, not insulted." Those words stopped the entire session. And from that day on, no one dared to bring lyrics like that into the Silk Sonic studio again. They created a safe space, a sanctuary, where music was made with love and respect. That's why their music feels so warm, so sincere, so healing. Because that music was made from a pure place. Female fans, especially mothers and adult women who have followed Bruno since the doo-wops and hooligans era, they feel this. They feel this sincerity. They write on social media, they say, "Finally there is a male superstar who makes us feel safe. Finally there is a man who does not see us as an object, but as a queen." A fan from Japan wrote a very long letter that went viral. She said, "I have been listening to music for 50 years. I have seen many male singers, but there has never been one who made me feel respected like Bruno Mars. When he sings, I feel he is singing for me, to honor my journey as a woman." And that is the power of the rejections he made. Every rejection of a collaboration that does not respect women, every rejection of a lyric that degrades, is an acceptance of millions of women's hearts out there. He may have lost some instant hits, he may have lost some big checks, but he won something far more valuable. He won eternal trust. So, from what we have discussed in this first part, we learned that being a superstar is not just about voice, but about choices. Bruno Mars chose to stand on the right side, even when that side was not popular, even when that side made him have to reject countless amounts of money. He chose to be a gentleman in a world that is increasingly forgetting the meaning of that word. Now I want to hear from you, great women, loyal hooligans who are watching this video. What do you think about this principle of Bruno Mars? Have you ever felt respected by his music? Do you agree that the music industry today needs more men like him? Write your feelings, write your stories in the comment column below. I will read every one of your comments, and the best comments will be featured in the second part later. Don't forget to give a like to this video if you are proud of Bruno Mars, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the second part, which will be aired tomorrow, because in the second part we will reveal the big names he rejected and the reason behind Bruno Mars's tears when remembering his mother. See you in the second part. Keep being strong and valuable women as Bruno Mars always sees you.